like to show you something called grade categories. And a grade category is a really helpful aspect of an ECCO course, which helps you divide your mark book, or as is called in ECCO, a grade book, up into sections. And probably the easiest way of understanding what this means is that if you are looking into a particular course, um, you can take all the marks for that particular course and you can group them in certain subheadings. So imagine a Year 9 student has gone home, they've taken their end of year report, and it says English, you got this, maths, you got this, science, you got this. What this does, it says, no, this is actually a report for, let's say, English. And imagine on the A4 page, the student is looking at their English specific report, and within English you look at how did this student do when it comes to close reading or creative writing or personal reading or research methodologies or things like that. So I'm in a Year 9 course that I'm teaching this year, and if I click on my grade book, I'll show you what this actually looks like. It'll take a few moments to load, and then when we jump in, you can see that each student listed down the left-hand side of my screen under this gradebook tab actually has a little icon next to their name. And if I click on that icon, it should show me that their report for English has all these groups. And so what I've made a section for PATs, for common assessment tasks, for spelling, punctuation, and grammar, for written text, visual text, close reading. So if I go into any one of these bits, I can see or should be able to see marks that are populated for that student under that certain heading. And you can imagine how this is so helpful when it comes to did that work? You can imagine how this is so helpful when it comes to individual conversations with parents, because that you can jump in a teacher-parent interview. You can click on an individual child or student on their report, and then you can show the parent exactly how they've been tracking in your subject. So how do you set this up? So let's go back to that Year 7 course that we were looking at. So I've clicked on courses, go back to my courses. I want to go and find this course now, and we're going to set up those categories. So here we have it. I'm going to click on my name. It's going to go into my instance of that cohort. And to set up the grades, we go to this tab here. And this is what I was wanting to show you, grade setup. So click grade setup. And this is simple as this. At the top of the screen, it says to you what categories do you want to use for your reporting within the course. And so all I do is I go along and I click add, and I want to have one called creative writing. And I'll leave it on total points, leave it on 0, and create. And all this has done, it's created a column in my mark book and in the individual students' reports, which says creative writing. Now, whenever I have an assignment, I can tell the assignment I want this to be a creative writing assignment, and it will sit under the creative writing section. And it's a wonderful way of dividing up your course so that the marks make sense. For NCEA levels, a really easy way of doing this is putting in the achievement standards. So 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, pop them all into a grading category. 1.1, click off, total points, 1.2, 1.3, and you can keep all the quizzes, formal or diagnostic assessments, the summative marks, all in your gradebook, all put beautifully into these grading categories. Now, obviously, Year 7 doesn't do 1.1, so I'm just going to delete that out. I think this is a great opportunity to chat with other members of your team or department about how you want your grading categories to be set up. And not sure what happened there. Can't break it, so you just got to go back to the beginning and check that it's done. But the whole point here is that it promotes a conversation. How do we want these categories to look? And I thought I would show you what an NCA one looks like. So I've got a year 12 class in here. I'll show you this. Looks pretty good. If I go to the grade setup, you can see that what I've done is I've populated all the achievement standards in there. 2.1, 2.2, 3, 4, 5, and 8 is what we did this year. And if I want to adjust any of these or change them, I just click onto the actual one and I can rename it or change it any way that I wanted to do it. So that's how you do grading categories. Why they're important, because they group your marks into subheadings, and having that organized early on will avoid confusion when we start making assignments or adding marks in. Easy as. See you in the next step.